Okay, Maya, do you have a part in mind?
Yeah, I'd like to address entitlement.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, why don't we just go
Okay.
go inside. And what you're looking for is if you can sense this part that's around entitlement. And notice how it shows up. Just kind of let me know when you have a felt sense of it or an image of it.
So what I'm noticing is a dark cloud that's mixed with sadness and anger and pain.
Good. Yeah. Just kind of keep noticing that, where it's showing up in and around your body. And let's start to get to know this part a little bit. And maybe you can reach out and ask this part, what does it need or want you to know about it?
So I'm feeling it mostly in my chest. That's where immediately it started to show up. And kind of swirling, moving, kind of gliding back and forth. And it seems to want to be acknowledged.
Yeah. Would that be okay to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Send it that acknowledgement. How's that landing?
That's neat.
Yeah, how's
It
that landing?
seems like it's calming down
Yeah.
and feeling, wow, that's interesting. Some peace,
Good.
and it's spreading out and lightening in color, like less gray.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
just stay that then. Stay right there. And just keep sending that acknowledgement.
It's interesting. It feels like it's enveloping my heart somehow, but in a very peaceful, like not. I don't know. I'm not feeling the sadness. I'm not feeling the anger. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, stay with it. You're doing good. Maya, if this part were here, how would you feel towards it?
I think I'd want to nurture it and listen to it and give it love.
Okay. And ask this part, how would it feel about perceiving some of that?
They want that.
Okay. And do you notice any parts concerned with doing that?
No?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and extend some of that towards this part or parts. Just take as long as you need.
What I am noticing is it's going into my shoulders and arms,
Okay.
like spreading out.
Good. Yeah, just stay with it.
And into my stomach. And it used to be gray, but it's kind of like a white, light blue, light green.
Yeah, stay with it. Why don't you go ahead and ask this part now? Does it have a sense of who you are?
Not yet.
Yeah. Ask it, would it like to get to know you any better?
Yes.
Okay, and how close does this part feel to you?
Well, it feels like it's becoming more of me. It's spreading to just kind of all over. So it's really hard to say, but it feels like it's dissipating, but maybe it's just relaxing into my body somehow.
Okay. Yeah, stay with it. And go ahead and ask it, would it like to get to know you a little bit better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would.
Yeah, so go ahead and let the part sense you more. And you could even invite it closer if that makes sense.
It's weird, but I'm not really feeling it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes parts just need to be acknowledged, and that's kind of just all that they need in that moment. Just keep kind of sensing around. And you could even ask that part, is that what it needed?
Yes.
Yeah. Did it need anything else?
Right now, it seems at peace.
Yeah. Does this part need to go, or can it stay with us?
It can stay. It feels like it's kind of just relaxed into, it's just me. It's just kind of been, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead, since it's willing to stay here, even though it kind of feels like you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask it, does it have a role or a job for your system?
Mm-hmm. I wonder, so the first thing that came to mind was to protect, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah. And I think with this part, it sounds like you might just be able to straight up ask.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just go ahead and straight up ask, what is it protecting?
Oh, my heart?
Oh yeah, what does it mean?
I think it's trying to protect my heart in the sense that maybe I've always been a giving person, and sometimes I have felt taken advantage of, maybe because I've always been considered nice and sweet and all that.
So this part wants to make sure that maybe you don't get taken advantage of and protects that part of you. Yeah.
Maybe.
So just go ahead and ask it, are you getting that right?
It feels right.
Yeah, so it sounds like this part wants to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Can you sense that part that has been taken advantage of in some way?
Yeah, although it's hard to know if that was me being sensitive or what the intention has been, because I felt it kind of since I was a kid sometimes.
So this part's been here a long time then?
I think so.
Yeah, so ask this protective part, has it been protecting you from all that back then? All the way back then?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do you feel towards it hearing that's been protecting you for so long?
Well, it's kind of nice to feel protected. And I think there's part of me that wants it not to react, though, sometimes as a trigger, because sometimes I think it is a trigger.
So appreciative, but also sometimes you would prefer if it didn't react in the way that it does?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let it know that.
Okay. Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah. And ask this part, when it was sensing you, did it get the full sense of like who you were, the complete adult that you are today?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, go ahead and ask it.
Maybe not. But it just feels like a question mark.
Yeah. So go ahead and ask it, would it really like to sense you even more now? To see the complete adult that you are today?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Let it sense you, and just take as long as you need. There's no rush.
It's there's something empowering about that. It's noticing me as an adult who's able to put boundaries and empowered and smart.
Yeah.
Aware of the inner self, but also just aware of surroundings. But I think that the part that it sometimes struggles with understanding is maybe because I feel that sometimes it's hard to read people's intentions.
Okay. Yeah. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, let it know that you're getting that.
Okay.
It's making sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So as this part, would it be okay if this part gave you a little bit of space to work with this part? This other younger one that you were talking about before?
What do you mean?
Yeah. So it sounds like this part's been protecting a younger one, maybe a little one, one that maybe got taken advantage of in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's unsure,
Yeah.
but it may be willing to try.
Well, let's just ask it. What's it unsure of?
Maybe because I don't know. Maybe the inner child part seems still vulnerable in some ways.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let him know that makes perfect sense. This concern is really valid there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And let this part know it has some options too. Giving space can mean several different things. Giving space can mean it just gives you enough space to work with this kid, but the protector remains here.
Mm-hmm.
It could mean that it gives you full space and waits in the waiting room. So it really has a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
Space could also mean this is kind of new to me, and I like the idea, but I want to think about it. Maybe we come back. So space can really mean a lot of different things. I think one thing to make sure this protector knows, or this part knows, is that it has a lot of options, and that we're not going to just bypass it or do something without its permission.
I like that. It seems to be okay with waiting in the waiting room or waiting outside, or that kind of thing.
Yeah. And Mia, how are you feeling towards working with this part, this younger one?
Good.
Yeah. And just kind of keep sensing this little one. Another thing you can also do as you're sensing this little one is just seeing if any other parts are landing. Seeing if there's any parts that also have concerns with you working with this little one. Sometimes parts also need to be acknowledged before they let you work with this little one. So just kind of keep sensing what's going on in and around your body.
All I notice, and I'm not sure if this is a part, well, no, I think, pretty sure this is a part, but there's that maternal nurturing part. And the reason I say I feel like I'm sure that's a part because it's just such a part of my identity. I think just I've always been a nurturing person.
Yeah.
So, and I think what gets me sometimes, I know cognitively that as a mother, you know, it's kind of a thankless job sometimes, and I know kids tend to be kind of, in their own world and focused on themselves, and so they're not going to be ones who always, say thank you all the time or shout, because that's also part of their development.
Sure.
That's just who they are sometimes.
Sure.
But I do sense it when I'm sensitive with, like, not just kids, but with other people that may be important to me, that it can feel more maybe hurtful than it should be at times.
Yeah.
that I am sensitive. With that, when I'm feeling especially vulnerable or tired or whatever it may be.
Yeah, so let's just reflect back and ask that part. Are you getting that right? That sometimes it can feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. And ask it, what else does it need you to know about that?
Ask the part
Yeah.
what it needs to know.
What it
What I
needs
need
you-
to know.
Yeah, what does it need
about-
you to know about that?
Or what it needs me to know.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm not sure. Are there examples, or is it just kind of like whatever?
Yeah.
I feel like right now it's the inner child not really, it's kind of looking to me and not really telling me just yet.
Okay. Yeah, good job clarifying that. So it sounds like the little one's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And how do you feel towards the little one?
Oh, just very protective and nurturing and wanting to do what's right for that little one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the mothering part, I think, is that protective. Well, I guess it's either the protective part or the mother. I guess nurturing is the word, because mother feels both protective and nurturing. So I'm trying to figure out, are those two different parts or one part? I feel like there's this whole mothering part, so I don't know.
And one thing you could even give your system permission to do is that you don't have to really figure that stuff out.
Okay.
You can really just be here with these parts, let them sense you so that you can sense them.
Okay.
Right? Because some of these parts are kind of new to work with, in this way at least.
Yeah.
And we don't really actually have to figure any of it out.
Okay.
We can just be here with these parts.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can even just ask both of these parts. You know, can they get a sense of who you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can even ask them, do they want to get to know you better?
Yeah, it's interesting because I want to get to know them better, but I never thought of them getting to know me better.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let them know that. Let them know that you do want to get to know them better. You can ask, do they feel that way about you?
Yeah. I think it's mutual.
Yeah. So go ahead. Let them know that they can move closer now to get a better sense of who you are. And you can get a better sense of who they are.
And they feel close already. And I guess they're feeling even closer. Okay.
Yeah. And it's just what's comfortable. So if they're really just perfectly close, totally fine.
Okay. Yeah, they feel like right there.
Yeah, good. Yeah. And you can ask both of them. So this is kind of campfire style when you're working with more than one part at a time.
Okay.
And totally fine. You can even just ask both of them. Do either of them want you to know something about them?
Oh, okay. Just asking them?
Yeah, yeah.
It feels like they both are kind of saying they're there for me, they're always there. And they work together.
Okay. Yeah.
They're kind of like one. I don't know. That's what's coming up.
And any curiosity about that relationship? How they work together?
Yeah. It's interesting because to think of like the mother part and child part, and they seem like one. They seem like they're just together.
So send that curiosity to them. Let them know that you're curious about learning more about that.
So it's kind of like they're saying it's their whole, like it's a part of me that we're inseparable kind of thing.
Mm.
I mean, that they can be separate, but also right now, and maybe it's because this is what I need, all of it, I don't know, all of it feels very cohesive.
Good, yeah. And you really just get to explore this. So just keep sending that curiosity towards them, letting them know that you're interested in this. Learning more about them.
And they seem to know each other very well. Like they're, I don't know, it's interesting. It's just very close.
Yeah, ask these parts, how do they feel towards each other?
It's loving, warm.
Oh, yeah. And how long have they been in this relationship in that way?
It seems always.
Okay. Yeah. Did one come first and then the other, or were they just kind of have always been that way?
That's unclear. Just seems like the same.
Yeah. Is that what they're telling you, or are you kind of inferring what's going on there?
I think inferring because I'm not. I don't
Perfect.
sense them saying anything. It's just what I feel.
Yeah, and I think you can just straight up ask them. You know, how long have they been like this? Did one come before the other?
Not really hearing them answer anything.
Okay. Yeah, do either of them have any jobs or roles for your system?
I think the child feels like the core, or they're just a deep part of me, and the mother as well, but the mother is more maybe more, not on the outside, but more active in protecting and watching out for me, whereas the child is like that protective part that I feel like, whether it's the mother part or just me protecting.
Yeah. So ask that motherly part, what does it think would happen if it didn't do this job for you?
I don't know, it's a little interesting because I think it has faith in, I mean, it knows me, that I'm very strong and protective and warm and loving. So I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. Is that kind of like what you're piecing together, or is that coming from that part?
Maybe both.
Yeah. So go ahead and ask that part. Are you getting that all right?
Okay. I think it's there because it does feel like that inner child is still needing that extra nurturing, maybe, and love, and maybe because I'm, sometimes, I guess when thinking about entitlement, if I'm wondering people's intentions, it's a back and forth between that child piece and that motherly piece, and then me as a strong woman who's aware and emotionally intelligent yet vulnerable kind of thing at times.
Gotcha.
And especially when just feeling funky or sensitive or, so maybe that is the child part of me that just needs that nurturing more, whereas other times I'm fine. I can totally think it, I can totally chalk it off to, okay, that's just silly, or that's just, those are kids, or those are people that are just, they're thinking, everyone's kind of, thinking about their own stuff a lot of times, and it doesn't mean they're entitled. It doesn't mean they don't care or something like that.
Sure. So this part knows you and knows that you can provide those things to the little one,
Mhm.
but sometimes this part's like, well, that little one actually even needs extra, and this one helps give that little one extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels good. Yeah.
Yeah, am I getting that totally right, or is there
Yeah.
more?
I think that feels totally right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel towards this motherly part, knowing what it's doing for this little one?
It's peaceful. It's like nice to know that there's that part that's nurturing and both protective and nurturing. So they're protecting, they're strong, but they're also giving that warmth.
Sure. So go ahead and let that part know that you recognize that.
Okay, that feels good.
Yeah. And ask it, is there anything else that it would like us to know about it, or its job?
No, although I'm curious about the part that may be the one that's, I guess it might be the child, that's the part that gets sensitive.
Yeah.
So maybe it is the mother. So it's interesting because I'm just thinking about that, like the anger it sometimes feels when someone or someone is not grateful, or, and I know that I can't, that I don't expect that from people in general, usually, because
Sure.
that's just, I do things because I like to or because I care, and that's love. But I think it's when that inner child comes out that it's like maybe needing more of that, feeling appreciated. So, and in those, maybe that's why I'm thinking about the mother part is trying to nurture that and protect that.
Yeah, and I think you can just reflect it right back.
Okay.
And just, are you getting that right?
Okay.
Are you reading that clearly?
Yeah. Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah. So ask this part, would it be okay to give a little bit of space to work with that little one that holds some of the sensitivities?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go ahead. Ask it to give you some space and go ahead and sense that little one again.
Okay.
Yeah, and ask that little one, is there anything that she needs you to know about her?
That she needs that nurturing. I think seems to be that there were times she didn't feel seen. She had very loving parents, family, but maybe sometimes peers or other adults misinterpreted things, or and here this young child was always nice and sweet, and so when someone would get mad at her